Hi guys, today we are going to discuss the contempt of court proceedings initiated by the Supreme Court against Advocate Prashant Bhushan, who is a leading public interest lawyer in the Supreme Court of India. So we'll understand as to what powers are given to the Supreme Court and various high courts in India with respect to initiating contempt of court proceedings, and we'll also understand as to why has this particular matter created so much controversy all over the country. So I'm making this video on request of a lot of students who sent me messages on Instagram, and one of you also commented in one of my videos for making a video on this particular matter. Okay, so here it is. So only the Supreme Court and various high courts in India have the power to initiate proceedings for contempt of court. And where does this power come from? It comes from the Constitution of India. So Article 129 of the Constitution provides this power to the Supreme Court, whereas Article 215 of this Constitution provides this power to various high courts in the country to initiate contempt proceedings. Now the problem is that even if the Constitution provides power to various courts to initiate contempt of court proceedings, it does not define what contempt actually is. That is defined in the Contempt of Courts Act of 1971. It defines contempt as an offense of showing disrespect to the integrity and the dignity of various courts in India. Alright, and Supreme Court has the power to initiate contempt proceedings for contempt done in any court in India. So basically, if a person contempts a high court or any other inferior court in India, Supreme Court has the power to initiate contempt proceedings. Now, the Act of 1971 divides contempt into two parts. First one is civil contempt, second is criminal contempt. So civil contempt is very settled and very easy to understand. It's basically willful disobedience of any judgment, any order or any writ that is passed by the Supreme Court or any other court in the country, or if you've given any undertaking to the court and you do not obey that or basically willful disobey that, then also civil contempt proceedings can be initiated against you. The second part of this is the criminal contempt proceedings. Now that is a problematic issue and is debated a lot over the years because it has been defined very vaguely. So criminal contempt is basically divided into three heads. First one is scandalizing the court by lowering its authority. Second is interference in the due course of a judicial proceeding. And third is an obstruction in the administration of justice. Okay, that is very vague and is no objectivity to it. So basically the court can apply various interpretations to it and can initiate proceedings against any person for contempt of court. That is why it is so controversial. Now the 1971 Act also defines the punishment for contempt of court. That is 6 months of simple imprisonment or 2,000 rupees fine or both. Okay, so that is the punishment. Now in 2006, there was an amendment made to the 1971 Act wherein it defined certain exceptions to contempt of court. Now that is, the person against whom the contempt of court proceedings have been initiated is able to prove that whatever he said was truth. And secondly, he can prove that it was a fair and reasonable criticism, then he cannot be prosecuted for contempt of court. Alright, now let's understand as to why this particular Prashant Bhushan issue has created so much hue and cry all over the country. That is because Prashant Bhushan recently released two tweets. So in the first tweet, he mentioned the democratic system in India that has degraded in the last 6 years and the role of last 4 CJIs in such degradation. Now the second tweet was with respect to a photo that got viral very recently of Chief Justice of India while he was sitting on a Harley Davidson. To this, Prashant Bhushan tweeted that CJI is riding a 50 lakh rupees motorbike and questioned the CJI for riding a bike without helmet and mask while he keeps the Supreme Court under the lockdown mode. Okay, so because of these two tweets, the Supreme Court itself on its own accord initiated the contempt proceedings against Prashant Bhushan. So it means that there were suo motu proceedings initiated, which means that there was no complaint or petition made by any person against Prashant Bhushan. The Supreme Court on its own accord initiated these proceedings, and that is a power that is given by the Constitution to the Supreme Court of India. Now it has created a lot of controversy all over media is because scholars believe that in a country like India, where right to freedom of speech and expression is guaranteed to every citizen, a contempt of court law does not have any space. Okay, basically such law should be scrapped. Some people even call this law colonial hangover, basically something that is borrowed abruptly from the UK or basically the British law. Okay, the fun fact here is that in 2013, the UK has also abolished the contempt law. Another interesting thing to note is that in 2018, the Law Commission of India released a report wherein it mentioned that Indian contempt law does not need any changes at all. Okay, so that was another issue that was highlighted a lot at that time, and that was brought to light again in this controversy also. So meanwhile, 131 people in India, including various senior advocates in the Supreme Court and some retired judges also of the Supreme Court, have written a solidarity statement requesting the Supreme Court of India to do away or scrap such contempt proceedings against Prashant Bhushan. And they've been joined by some other retired judges of the Supreme Court who also believe that this is against the very basic tenet of the right to speech and expression in our country. In the solidarity statement, they've also mentioned a statement which was made in 2003 by Vinod Bobde, who is the elder brother of Chief Justice of India, Justice Bobde. You can see this 2003 statement on your screen right now. So that's it about this session. If you like our sessions, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss any updates from us. Keep suggesting us for such videos. We'll be more than happy to consider all your suggestions. Thank you so much.